So what we do is it's very important to track student performance, to show their growth. And there's this great research, particularly for struggling students, what they call performance versus mastery. So in a performance environment, it's about winning. And we've all experienced that, where you've got a ladder, who read the most books, who did the whatever, and you have the kids who are always at the top. But the kids who are at the bottom, what's the point of even playing if I'm always going to be in the bottom, if it's all about winning? So they have an alternative approach, is what's called a mastery environment, which is about looking at my growth. And I think of for me, the experience is really exercise. When you go to the gym for the first time, you haven't been, and you see all these people doing stuff, and you're kind of intimidated. And it's almost a little embarrassed, because I don't want to be next to the guy who's lifting all the weights. I want to go someplace in a corner where nobody can see me, or I'm just going to leave. So, but when you go out and the first day you run 1 lap, it's like, I'm dead. But then you come back, you run 2 laps, and then you run 3 laps. That kind of progress is really valuable, and seeing yourself grow. You may not be running the mile and winning the race, but you are getting better. And focusing on that individual progress toward mastery is very good for low-achieving kids. It doesn't work so well for high-achieving kids. They're all about winning. You got the MIT shirt on, you know what I'm talking about. So we want to have kids be able to see themselves grow. We want to reinforce. We also want kids to learn from their mistakes. So one of the things that bothers me the most about school is that it's all about not making mistakes. And it's the one place. This is like this is another one of these research things, just came out this week. We learn better when we make mistakes. Well, yeah, of course we do. But how often do we allow kids to make mistakes in school? We reward them not for making mistakes, but for learning from mistakes. So we want an environment where you get it, we're going to take it back. Let's take a look at this and make sure we get it right. So fluency and fluidity, they are possible. We can do it, but we have to be systematic about it. Kids must have a conceptual foundation. I'm not saying they don't need procedural fluency. At some point, they don't need their math facts. They got to have that stuff too. But if they don't have a foundation for which to use those things, they're going to fall apart. One coherent number system, please. Not jumping around. It's a different model for each number system. The right task and feedback. So make sure that we get the right thing for the right kid. That's one of the things that technology can do. That's one of the things we really work to do with everything, all of our programs, but fractionation in particular. And so I want to burn this into your brain. We want to build a cycle of success for kids, in fractions, in math in general. So first, you need a belief in competence. Are you familiar with the research by Carol Dweck? It's gotten a lot of play. She went into, Carol Dweck is at Stanford now, but she went into, she and Lisa Blackwell went into low-performing middle schools in New York City. And kids who were struggling in math. And half the students got training in study skills. This is generally how to be a better student. The other half of the students got the training in study skills, but they also were taught that their brain is like a muscle. They were taught how their brain works. And it's like a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it is. And they even went in, they showed them real research of like the rats, that there were 2 groups of rats. One group of rats was given like a remote control on a TV, and they were just laying around. The other group of rats had wheels and all this stuff to play with. And after a period of time, they took the rats and they cut open their heads and they weighed their brains. And the rats who were in a stimulated environment, I know it's kind of sad, but it's all for science. They weighed their brains, and the rats who had been in a stimulating environment, their brains weighed more. If you use it, it grows. And they taught kids that if you use your brain with effort, you'll get smarter. That intelligence is not something that is fixed. You're either born smart or born not smart. It is about, it's malleable, it's incremental. It's about effort. You can make yourself smarter. And there's a whole bunch of literature about the way we use praise and stuff. We don't talk about, praise the effort, not the kid. Because as soon as you say, oh, Douglas is so smart, what is that saying about everybody else who didn't get it? See, I'm not so smart. I'm not saying you're not smart, Douglas. I just want to say that was very effortful. You really worked hard on that, and it was great. Let's talk about the way you did that. Because we can all learn to do that. Some takes more effort than others. But the focus is on a belief that I can do it. And then you actually have to have evidence of that competence. You need to be able to show that you can do it. Have that feedback. I believe I can do it, and look, I can do it. And that means that leads to motivation. If I can do it, I like doing it. It feels good. And if you're motivated, you try. And if you try, your performance increases. And now you're in a cycle of, this is great. That just gives me more evidence that I can do it. And when you look at the case studies of kids who are beating the odds kids who are in a sea of failure, but they're succeeding, what is it? They actually believed that they were good at something. There's this whole area of research called stereotype threat, but you see it in math, that people who've been told that they're good at math, they're the ones who tend to persevere. Because, well, I'm good at math. I should be able to do this. It used to be easy. And then you have the same thing on the other side. We want to stop the negative cycle. See, I told you I couldn't do this, to one that is, yeah, with work I can do that, and it feels pretty good. This is what we want.